Let's start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pecharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktabanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so it's a nice verse. Maybe I should share my screen also. Let me share the screen. Think 1842. Yeah. So I will read the verse. There is no purport for this verse, but we'll read the verse in word for word meaning and translations. So I'll read first, and then someone can read also after that. Samudamastapasaucham Shantirajavamev cha Jnanam Vignanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. Someone would like to read?
Indeed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, verse 8.42. Samodamastapah socham kshantirajavamev cha jnanam vijnanam mastishyam brahma karma savavajam. Hare Krishna.
Nice one. Thank you, Mate. Anyone else would like to read? Okay, we can continue. Yeah. So let's read the synonyms. Would you like to read synonyms, Mate? Synonyms and translation?
Yes,
Sure.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Synonyms. Shama means peacefulness. Dhamma means self-control. Tapa means austerity. Saucham means purity. Kshanti means tolerance. Arjavam means honesty. Eva, certainly. Cha and jnanam, knowledge. Vijnanam, wisdom. Astikyam means a religiousness. Brahma, of the Brahmana. Karma means duty, and Swabhavajam means born of his own nature. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Should I read the translation?
Yeah, please go ahead, Mate.
Translation. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mate. So it's a nice section. So we'll go through each of these one by one. So let me. So first, I'll give some brief context. As we know, Bhagavad Gita is 18th chapter. 18 chapters are there in the Bhagavad Gita with 700 verses, and we're in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. And 18th chapter is considered a summary of the entire Bhagavad Gita, like conclusion chapter. And then within the 18th chapter, Krishna, because it's summarizing Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, like that. So, in this particular section, it is considered like Jnana, like knowledge, like that. So, basically, Krishna is summarizing in this section that how in a society people need to function according to their varna and ashrama, so that way they can be elevated in terms of consciousness. That means everyone needs to do the duties that are assigned to their varna and ashrama, like that. So, what are varnas and ashramas? Most of you must be knowing. Varnas are like four of them, and they are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. So, and then for ashrama is bachelor life, that is Brahmacharya, and then married life, that is Grihastha ashram, and then Vanaprastha, a retired life, and then sannyasa or renounced life. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna already told in the fourth chapter that these varnas, the division of the in the society, these four divisions are there. Division of society by these four categories is there already. It's not that somebody is born to Brahmana, that means they become Brahmana like that. That can also be possible. But the main division of the caste in the society Krishna describes is based on guna karma vibhagasa, not based on birth, not based on janma, but instead guna karma. Guna means qualities, karma means occupations or work like that. So when he's describing that, he's trying to delineate how to identify who is a Brahmana by quality. So this particular verse 42 verse is talking about how do we identify Brahmana by quality. That means somebody may be a son or a daughter of Brahmana, but if they don't have the qualities of Brahmana, they cannot be considered as Brahmana. But simultaneously, if somebody has the qualities of Brahmana, but they're not born to Brahmana father, still they can be considered as a Brahmana like that. So basically the idea is that uh, Gunakarma based on activity and occupations. What are the activities of a Brahmana then? That is also covered by Krishna in later verses. Activities of Brahmana are primarily um, uh, reading scriptures or studying scriptures and sharing the knowledge from scriptures, worshipping the deity form of the Lord and teaching others to worship the deity form of the Lord, and then accepting charity and giving charity like that. And then also um, uh, the Patan, Yajan, Dana Pratigna. Okay, yeah. Another way of worshipping deities and teaching the deity, I told, right? Another way is described as performing sacrifices and teaching others to do sacrifices. So in this age, that also means chanting of the holy name themselves and teaching others to chant the holy name also. So Brahmana is identified based on qualities and based on the occupation or the work they perform like that. That's the essence we can understand as a context. In that context, now Krishna is describing the qualities of a Brahmana now. So these are actually totally 9 in number. So let me share my screen one more time and then we'll go back to each of those individually. So, sama, peacefulness, dhamma, self-control, tapa, austerity, saucham, purity or cleanliness, shanti, tolerance, arjavam, honesty or simplicity or straightforwardness, like that, different words you can use for this, or no duplicity, like that. Similarly, sama means peacefulness or control of mind or equal, seeing people, everybody equally, equanimity of mind, like that. Dhamma means self-control, a sense control like that. And then Jnanam is knowledge, Vijnanam is wisdom or realized knowledge or practical understanding of the theoretical knowledge. And Astikyam is religiousness or faith in scriptures like that. These are the 9 qualities. So we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 qualities, right? So we'll discuss each of them. In fact, the other day I was talking about austerity for the whole class. So each of these we can do it together because our acharyas and Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam talk so much about each of these qualities. So we can touch on them so that we can finish before 8:30. And I will leave some time in case anybody has any points that they want to share based on their understanding or anybody has any questions also we can discuss. So, so first quality was sama. Sama means peacefulness. That's how Prabhupada translated in the this particular verse. In other places is translated as control of mind also. So basically, what does this mean? Actually, in this whole verse, if you need to highlight the most important portions, are of course we can say most important in different ways. One angle in with one angle, most important is sama and dhamma, control of the mind, control of senses. Another important point is astikyam, that means religiousness or faith in scriptures like that. So we'll spend more time on a few of these things because they're essential qualities of Brahmana. And why is it important for us as practicing devotees to learn about Brahmana qualities? Because these Brahmana qualities are helpful for us practicing devotees to actually advance in spiritual life also. That's why it's important to understand the qualities so that when we understand the qualities, we can aspire to develop those qualities. Why do you want to aspire to develop those qualities? Because it's pleasing to Krishna. Remember, Krishna is pleased when we advance in our relationship with him. Why is he pleased? Because that makes us happy. When we are happy, Krishna is happy. So that is why when we develop these Brahmana qualities, it makes Krishna happy. So with that mood and intention, we try to develop these Brahmana qualities. Anytime we develop any qualities, is with that intention only, not because we want to be shown as a great devotee with control of mind, with control of senses. Not like that. That's not the purpose. Purpose is to please Krishna. If we do that for other purposes, then we'll only end up with pride. So, so basically, we're talking about the sama, or peacefulness, or control of mind. Control of mind from what? Control of mind from the temptations that come for enjoyment, or uh, uh, problems that might come that may distract us. So, from what? Distract from what? We are all practicing spiritual life to go towards to improve our relationship with Krishna, to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. So when we are on the journey for the ultimate goal of engaging in pure devotion service to Krishna, what are the two distractions we talked about just now? One is opportunity to enjoy materially, and then distraction of problem or suffering in our life. These two are distractions. Why these are called distractions? Because if we our focus is to serve Krishna, please Krishna, suddenly I get distracted to enjoy more and more materially. Then what happens is, then I'm leaving this and going there. So that is why that is one distraction. Similarly, if there's a suffering that comes in my life or a problem that comes in my life, then there's a potential that I might get distracted to solve the problem, solve the problem, solve the problem, solve the problem like that. Forget about Krishna now. So, but then devotees, how do they deal with these two? Temptation for enjoyment and dealing with problems? They they continue to perform our bhakti steadily while giving the body and mind the necessary minimum enjoyment to keep the body and soul together so that we can practice Krishna consciousness nicely. So some enjoyment is required for all of us in terms of materially also. But we give it in the way so that we can function towards toward we can progress towards a goal of bhakti like that. In other ways, Krishna describes in the earlier chapter how the body is like a machine. So that like computer needs maintenance. It needs to be cleaned regularly in terms of file space, in terms of patching, in terms of security viruses, preventing viruses like that. We need to do some maintenance for the computer. Similarly, to use the computer, how we need to keep it up nicely. Similarly, to use our body so that we can perform devotion service, to use our mind so that we can perform devotion service, we need to take care of our body and mind. For that, whatever is needed in terms of food, in terms of proper food, healthy food, in terms of proper rest, in terms of proper exercise, we try to give that. So, with that mood, we take care of the body and mind. That is how we can deal with distractions of control of mind. So one other ways we can have this control of mind is by understanding the futility of sense enjoyment. That means how sense enjoyment is temporary, it only gives temporary pleasure, and it ultimately leads to uh, problems in uh, progressing in spiritual life. Because if I'm focused on sense gratification, then I'm going forgetting Krishna. I'm not focusing on Krishna. So that's why it's taking me away. So when we contemplate like this with intelligence, we understand sense gratification is not suitable for me. for progressing in bhakti like that. So like that, with the contemplation, with the proper understanding of the futility of sense gratification or futility of fruitive activities, number one. Number two, when we engage in bhakti, we derive a higher pleasure. Then we contemplate on the higher pleasure we are deriving from bhakti. So by understanding the negative aspects of sense gratification, by understanding and appreciating the positive aspects of devotion service, then we can resist the temptations of getting distracted with sense gratification. So that is one way we can control ourselves from going away from distractions. Number one, that is a sama portion. Another aspect of sama is not our mind, let it not delve into topics that are not related to Krishna. Of course, we all need to take care of the bare minimum things in life. We need to do our office work for 8 hours, and then we need to do, some students will study for 8 hours. We all need to do whatever is needed, but you should not delve into topics other than Krishna that are not required for our maintenance, that are not required for us to continue in bhakti. Yeah. So that's the other aspect of controlling the mind. That means, how do we do that? One way we can do that is by engaging positively in bhakti, by observing our mind in Krishna's service. In Nectar of Instruction, in the first verse, there's a verse called Vacho Vegam, mm, Vacho Vegam, Mano Vegam, Krodha Vegam, Jihva Vegam. That was right. Mano Vegam, control of the mind. So in that, Srila Prabhupada writes, the one way to control the mind is to engaging mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. Engaging mind by absorbing it in the lotus feet of on the lotus feet of Krishna. And Prabhupada also elaborates there that by engaging our mind, literally thinking about lotus feet of Krishna, number one, and then thinking about service of Krishna. How can I do service to Krishna? How can I improve my service to Krishna? By thinking like that, our mind is positively engaged instead of negatively engaged about something else that are not helpful for our bhakti. So that's the other principle of sama, or control of mind. So how do we develop these positive thoughts instead of negative thoughts, or thoughts that are not constructive for a bhakti? By having the right association with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. When we are associating with right Guru, right Sadhu, pure devotee, and the Shastra scriptures, then our thoughts will dwell on what they're thinking, what they're saying, like that. Then naturally, we're safeguarded from other negative thoughts also. That's about a sama portion of the thing. So now, one other thing, this connects with the cleanliness topic that we're going to talk in few minutes, or saucham, cleanliness, which is mind can be cleansed by chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Also, uh, mind, in the 17th chapter, last chapter of Bhagavad, Krishna talks about how what is the austerity of mind. Krishna describes austerity of mind includes several things like satisfaction, starts with satisfaction, and then he ends with, uh, of course, that is satisfaction. And austerity of speech, when he talks about reciting Vedic scriptures. So when you are reciting Vedic scriptures, also we are purifying our mind. When you are hearing Vedic scriptures, also we're purifying the mind like that. So then, because Prabhupada translated this sama as peacefulness, we might remember there's a formula for peace, or a peace formula verse in Bhagavad Gita. That is the last verse in the 5th chapter. Is the 29th verse of 5th chapter. It's called Bhoktaram Yajnata Prasad. That means Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices. And then Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, that Krishna is the supreme controller. And then Suhridam Sarvabhutana. That means he is the benefactor of everybody, all living entities, not just one kind of human beings, not just animals, not just birds, all kinds of living beings. He is the well-wisher or benefactor of everyone. And then Uh, one who knows this is peaceful. Mm. So that means, so that is another way of, another formula of peace. That means, how do we understand this? This can also be one class in itself. It's a nice verse to understand and read the purport of Prabhupada also. Basically, when we understand Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, then I'm not trying to enjoy everything. I'm trying to serve Krishna with whatever I can enjoy with. That is the one principle. Second principle, when Krishna is the supreme controller, that means I cannot control everything. Krishna can control everything. I can control some people at some times only, in some aspects only. I can control some things only, to limited time only, to a limited extent only. I cannot control anything to unlimited extent, and even to unlimited extent. When we understand that also, it gives us peace. Because normally we feel like controlling others that are in our life. Why are you not doing like this? Why are you doing like this? You have to do like this. We feel others should do like what we are doing. Others should follow exactly what we are doing. That is the nature of controlling. That is another aspect. Another aspect is how Krishna is the best friend of everybody. Suhridams is the best friend, best well-wisher of everybody. That means I might have all the good intentions to serve everybody nicely, but I am limited in my capacity. I can only serve few people in my life who can be helped, who want to be helped. Uh, if somebody doesn't want help from me, I cannot help them. But if somebody wants help, I'm happy to help. But I cannot help everybody also. I don't have capacity to help even, let us say only one person wants help. But they may be in such a problem that I may not have capacity to help also. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna has the capacity to help everybody at the same time. Krishna has the capacity to help in everybody's problems at any time. So he has an unlimited capacity like that. Whereas I don't have that. We need to recognize that. Then other aspect that is connected to this is perfectionism. I want to be perfect in everything I do. I need to understand it's a good aspect to do the best we can in service of Krishna. That's a good quality. But at the same time, we need to understand that I am not Krishna. So I cannot be perfect all the time. When we understand these principles, then we can be peaceful. We can avoid being angry. We can avoid being anxious. We can avoid agitation of mind like that. These are the principles about sama. So then next quality is about dhamma. Dhamma is the control of senses. Remember, I mentioned a Brahmana absorbs himself, his mind in Krishna's service. That's how he can avoid the negative thoughts that are not related to Krishna. And also, if some distraction comes, he can avoid or described at the mind layer. But sometimes, while we're cultivating Brahmanical qualities, we may not be able to avoid this distraction completely. So then we feel like engaging in that activity with the senses. Then the next level of control, when the intelligence failed us or the mind fails us to, if I'm observing Krishna's service, I don't need to think about this. So no chance of getting distracted. But somehow mind got distracted and is thinking about it, contemplating about it. Then what happens, we know from Bhagavad, contemplation leads to action finally. When that action is about to happen, at least at that time we can control the senses. That means we don't engage in that physical sense gratification activity. Yeah, that's the second gate Brahmana can employ to avoid the distraction from practice of bhakti. That is the dhamma or the control of senses. And we discussed already. Again, um, the way of controlling senses is first is understanding what is good, what is not good. Why sense gratification is not good like that. That is a knowledge portion. But knowledge is not good enough. Even I know so many good things, but I'm not able to do everything good right now. Yeah, we all have that experience. So that means knowledge is first step that can help. Second is creating a conducive environment. That means something I don't want to do, I don't want to be near that. So something I want to do, I want to be close to that. For example, I want to read scriptures. I keep my scripture very close to me so I can pick up quickly and read. I want to drink water regularly. I keep my water bottle very close to me so I can drink regularly. If I don't want to eat lots of sweets, I don't keep sweets close to me. Like that, we need to keep an environment that is conducive or favorable to controlling our senses. Number two. Number three, that means um, we should not consume, we cannot feed the mind with the topics related to those things that we want to avoid. For example, if I'm trying to avoid sweets because I'm already too much weight now. So if I'm trying to avoid sweets, then I don't try to go to YouTube and look for what is the best sweet I can make tomorrow. I don't want to eat now, but let me see the recipe. Let me see how that's made. What kind of sweets are people eat in Bengal? What kind of sweets people eat in Orissa? Like that, I'll start looking. What is the point of that? That is only starting the contemplation. We know from Bhagavad, contemplation is the starting point to acting. So we can stop there itself. And so we don't feed the mind with the things that are unfavorable, that are things that are not helping towards our goals, whether it's material goal or spiritual goals also. So that's another way to control the senses. Another way to control the senses is by being transparent and by being accountable to others in our life. For example, I have the habit of, mm, uh, for example, I have the habit of using too much of phone. Then I can tell my wife, my dear wife, I'm noticing that I'm using my phone too much these days. Can you please help me? Remind me when I'm using phone too much. Remind me. Don't scold me, but tell me sweetly, gently remind me that you wanted to control your phone usage. I just wanted to remind you. So that way we can ask our family members, our friends to remind us of something that we want to follow regularly. For example, I want to read my scripture daily, every day, 15 minutes. I can ask my friends, like whenever we meet, can you remind me? Can you ask me how are you doing on that 15 minutes reading goal that you have taken last month? What did you read? Can you please share with me something like that? You ask me. So then that will motivate me. Oh, when I meet him, he's going to ask me. So let me follow like that. Like that, we create our own system for sense control also. Another thing is accountability. So as practicing devotees, we can be accountable to some senior devotee. Usually we call them as mentor. So then when we want to follow something positive, we can share with them. And then when we want to avoid something negative, we can share with them. And then that way they can help us, encourage us to follow that, inspire us to follow that, or they can tell us tips to follow it. Like that, we can get some strength from other devotees who have already gone through this phase. Because many devotees, practicing devotees, we think that we are unique. Only we have all the bad qualities we think. That's not really true. There are many people who may be struggling. And there are many devotees who have gone past those bad qualities already because of the power of bhakti. Bhakti is so nice that it will clean us and it will take us to good qualities. So we can take that advice from our mentors. And we don't need to, this is also Rupa Goswami talks about in Nectar of Instruction, verse 4. Dadati pratignati guhyamakyati prichati. Guhyamakyati prichati means inquire from a senior confidentially and listen from them. Like that, we ask them and we learn from them and apply it. Not just asking questions and getting answers. That's not good enough. And hearing and writing notes is all not good enough for us. We need to apply them. Of course, I cannot apply everything that I'm reading. I cannot apply everything that I'm reading and I'm hearing. But at least whatever has caught my attention, whatever is applicable for my life currently, that point I take and apply. That itself makes us grow in bhakti nicely like that. So that's the other point about Dhamma or the sense control we discussed. Now, next one is Tapa, austerity. So this is also a wonderful topic. Mm, uh, Tapa means austerity. Austerity means something we're voluntarily doing for a higher cause. We all are used to that. For example, In the childhood, I always wanted to play cricket or some other game. Doesn't matter what game it is, I want to play. So I didn't want to go to school much. Don't want to go to study much. So that was my nature. But my parents told me, my relatives told me, my dear Sampath, if you keep on playing like this and don't study, then you don't get a good job. Then you don't get good money. Then you cannot live comfortably. So you need to study. So then I understood, okay, I need to go through this austerity of study now, so that for higher goal of better life in the future. That we are used to knowing that in material life itself. Now we can extend that to our ultimate goal, our spiritual goal. Our spiritual goal is to engage in pure devotion service to Krishna and to please Krishna. For that, I can take up some voluntary austerities. What are the voluntary austerities Prabhupada recommends? That, for example, Prabhupada, many places when our austerity word comes, Prabhupada starts with these three main things. One is chanting whatever vows we made before spiritual master. We need to chant the fixed number of rounds every day of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. That's the most important thing we can do in our devotional life. Every day some fixed number of rounds minimum. We can do more also, but minimum fixed we should do always. Number one. Number two, we should follow the four regulative principles, which will help us not to degrade our life further into mode of passion, not to degrade our life further into mode of ignorance, not to degrade our life into sinful activity. What are those? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. In fact, each of these is upholding one of the principles of religion. They're called mercy, austerity, the austerity that we are talking now, tapa, and then truthfulness, and then cleanliness are the four principles that is upholding. So His Grace Radhesham Prabhu gives the acronym MATCH, MATCH, for remembering this easily. M for mercy, A for austerity, T for truthfulness, C for cleanliness, H for the holy name that helps to follow everything nicely. It gives the spiritual strength to follow everything nicely. And then, so that way, mm, yeah, and then he also has the acronym for the four regulative principles also. He says, give me, GIMI, gambling, G for gambling, I for intoxication, M for meat eating, I for intoxication, meat eating. What else we missed? Illicit sex. Yeah. So the four things like that. So we follow this chanting regularly and follow the four regulative principles. Number two. Number three, we follow the basic austerity we can do. If you're able to do these two, we can also follow fasting days that are recommended for Vaishnavas. Not just, I think it's good to fast on this day, and I think it's good to fast on this day, not like that. Whatever recommended in scriptures, whatever prescribed by acharyas like Prabhupada, we follow. What are those? Like fasting on Ekadasi days, once in 15 days, fasting on Lord's appearance days like Ramanavami, Krishna Janmashtami, Balaram Purnima, like that Lord's appearance days. And then also some of the Acharya's appearance day that are given on a Vaishnava calendar. If you follow all the Vaishnava Acharya's appearance days, then we don't have any days left not to eat every day morning. So, so whatever is recommended by our Acharyas to follow, we follow those. Not because I like this, I like that, like that. That's the other austerity we follow. And then what is the mood to follow the austerity? I mentioned already briefly. I want to emphasize one more time because the important principle. mm, Even though we are doing some things very strictly, the mood of following them is to please Krishna because this will help me to grow in bhakti. Why do you want to grow in bhakti? Because that pleases Krishna. That is my natural constitutional position. So with that mood, we perform any kind of austerities also. Otherwise, we don't need to perform. And another thing I was telling in the question answers on the Friday evening class, basically another motivating, lower motivation, not higher motivation. Lower motivation is like we all know I have certain bad karma, I have certain good karma that I accumulated from the past lives and from this life also. So now The bad karma, good karma, how does it show up? Good karma shows up as a options for enjoying or facilities for enjoying. That's how good karma will show up. So when facilities for enjoyment comes, when comfortable situations come, I don't start enjoying and stop bhakti. I need to continue my bhakti. Similarly, when bad karma comes in my life in terms of problems, in terms of suffering. So, uh, uh, unfortunately, in our life, the bad karma manifests in different ways, in in unexpected ways, in the kind of problems that we don't want. Some of us don't like certain problems, some of us don't like certain different problem. So it can manifest in any particular way, the negative karma, bad karma we have. So this is a devotee called Adi Purusha Prabhu. He is a teacher of Nectar of Devotion in Bhakti Shastri in Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education, VIH. He shared this nice point. So now, when we take up voluntary austerity in devotion service, let us say I don't like getting up early, but I still get up 15 minutes earlier than what I used to get up. Then what am I doing is, by voluntarily taking that austerity that's helping me in bhakti, I'm getting rid of the bad karma that is there in the past also, in a proper way that I can handle it. Otherwise, that might come in a car accident, that might come in my wife scolding me, my husband scolding me, or my boss scolding me. I can get in different ways. Now I am choosing how I want that bad karma to go away. This is another way he was explaining it. That's also another nice motivation for us. So essentially, we utilize everything to serve Krishna ultimately. So let's go to next item. Next item is Saucham or purity. Prabhupada translates as purity or cleanliness. Cleanliness, Prabhupada always describes as external cleanliness and internal cleanliness. External cleanliness is maintained by taking a shower every day, at least once minimum, and then ideally we are meant to take a shower 2 times a day, and Brahmanas take shower 3 times a day. So once in the morning, once in the evening is what we are meant to do. Brahmanas and sannyasis, they take a midday bath also. Even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed that. But for us, we can take 2 times shower, morning and evening. So at least minimum one at least. So that is the external cleanliness portion. And then external cleanliness also includes keeping our surroundings clean also. Because our surroundings will have effect on our consciousness. So we keep our external surroundings also clean inside our home. And we stay in places that are clean instead of staying in places that are impure and unclean. So then, what is internal cleanliness then? Internal cleanliness is cleanliness of the mind, cleanliness of the consciousness. How do we do that? Do we do to open our head and clean it? No, we need to clean by suitable mantra. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra we're doing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This cleans our heart of all the impurities. This cleans of our mind of all the previous samskaras. That's how we can actually get rid of all the bad habits that we are not able to get rid of also. Because the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra will give the strength for us to get rid of those things. So that's the internal cleanness. In fact, uh, one of the two of the main aspects of doing a quality japa are adarat, are affectionate respect, and anudinam. That means every day, regularly. So I recently shared to some of the devotees the 6 factors of adarat, or affectionate respect, how to show affectionate respect. One of the aspect is saucham, cleanliness. So if we improve cleanliness, then we can improve the quality of our chanting japa also. Then it will have the best effect in our life. So that's another aspect we can note. So this is cleaning out this process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra cleanses our mind of the past karma also. So that way we can become purified. And the more we are pure, the more we are eligible and qualified to associate with Krishna. The more we associate with Krishna in the form of holy name, because Krishna is all pure, we'll get purified. Prabhupada commonly gives the example. If we associate with fire, then we get the heat and light from the fire. Similarly, when we associate with Krishna, we get purified because Krishna is pure, like that Prabhupada describes. So when you keep your hand in the fire, it will burn, right? Like that. Purity also is addictive, is helpful. Then the next quality is Shanti, or tolerance of dualities. So Krishna, this is one of the initial instructions he gives in the second chapter about tolerance. So tolerance is one of the signature quality, I call it, one of the important quality of a Vaishnava, of a sadhu. Generally, sadhu means any devotee we think. But sadhu has specific qualities given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Titikshava Karunika, that verse is there in Srimad Bhagavatam third canto, that Kapil Dev speaks to his mother Devahuti. So it starts with the tolerance. What is the tolerance Prabhupada describes in that particular verse, purport? Is that when we are trying to share Krishna consciousness, people will throw different obstacles in our path. So we should tolerate that. People will say some bad words towards us, even though we are intending to do good for them. So we need to tolerate that. That is one aspect. Second aspect is Krishna describes in Matra Spashastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukhadukkada Agama Payana Nitya Tam Tatikshava Bharata. In that verse, it describes how we need to tolerate the heat and cold, the dualities of material life he is talking about. That means if something is hot, my body may be uncomfortable. Something is cold, my body may be uncomfortable. Those I need to tolerate. That doesn't mean I go in the hot sun and stay there to show that how tolerant I'm in. No, that's not the intent. Intent is, for example, it's very, very hot. It's very, very cold. But still, I chant my rounds. Still, I do my cooking for Krishna. Still, I may do my hearing like that. Just because it's too hot, too cold, I don't give up my devotion service that day like that. That's the main aspect. That is at the body level. And the mind level is sukha dukkha. That means happiness and distress. So something makes me happy, makes me feel happy, I do it. Something doesn't make me feel happy, I don't do it. Our judge for doing the right thing is not what makes me feel good. Our judge for doing the right thing is what are scriptures telling us to do? What is pleasing to Krishna? That is the ruling guide for us. So that's what we account for. That's about tolerating the dualities at the mind level. And tolerating the dualities at the false ego level, ahankara level, are mm, mana, apamana. That is honor, mana means more honor, apamana means dishonor or insults or criticism like that. So we need to tolerate both somebody honoring us, praising us, appreciating us, and also we need to tolerate somebody insulting us, criticizing us like that also. What does this mean? This doesn't mean we don't do anything practically to take care of situation. It only means that just because somebody appreciated me so much, wow, I'm the greatest devotee in the world. So then I don't chant today. That's what it means. Not give up our bhakti because of some honor. Not give up bhakti because of some insult also. Somebody insults me, then I'm lamenting, oh my God, I'm doing so nice to everybody, but everybody is scolding me only. Then I don't chant. So we should tolerate these things because they're temporary and they're pertaining to the body and mind only, or even false ego, but not for the soul. Soul is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge also. So with that understanding, we tolerate and continue in bhakti. That is a tolerance aspect. So in fact, Brahmanas, one of the main qualities is forgiveness. So even if somebody does bad, we forgive them. Then forgiveness doesn't mean forgiveness is a broad topic again, but forgiveness is an internal quality. For example, somebody is doing repeatedly bad to me. I forgive them internally so that I'm not troubled myself and I'm not hating that person. I still want to do something good for them. That internally I should cultivate the forgiveness. But externally, I can maintain distance from them. I don't need to go every time before them so that he can scold me, so that he can irritate me. I don't have to go before them every day. So I still do something practical to deal with the situation. But internally, I forgive them. That is the quality of a Brahmana also. Next quality, 816, right? Okay. So next quality is Arjavam. Arjavam, Prabhupada translated as honesty. So in some other sections, it's translated as simplicity. Simplicity is the opposite of not being duplicitous. And then straightforwardness, that's other way Arjuna is translated in some other places in Bhagavatam also. So one level of Arjavam is speaking truth. Another level of Arjam is being simple, not complex. Another level of Arjam is being straightforward. That means we don't have to beat around the bush. We don't have to be duplicitous. That means I'm feeling angry at the other person, and I say, "Oh, I'm so happy with you." We don't need to say that. If we're really angry, we stay away from them. We don't need to say that I'm so happy with you. I love you. No, we don't need to say that. That is a duplicitous nature. Simplicity means Brahmana, and Brahmana. Uh, that doesn't mean just because I'm straightforward, I'll go blast everybody, say that, oh, you are looking ugly, you are not wearing the right dress, you are not speaking properly. I don't need to be that straightforward to make everybody my enemy. Straightforward means when sharing Krishna consciousness, nothing is stopping us. We share them politely, gently, sweetly, in a palatable way that they can accept it. That doesn't mean we're telling lies. We tell them the level they can handle. For example, for a small child, we can only tell 1 plus 2 equals 3. We cannot tell minus 1 is minus 3. We cannot tell that because they're not at that level. Similarly, we tell them appropriate knowledge for them so that they can apply in their life like that. That's a straightforwardness, no duplicity. So, okay, then, yeah, that covers that one. Next aspect is, yeah, oh, another important aspect I noted that Brahmana should speak the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth? That we are Krishna's servants, Krishna's parcels, and we're meant to serve Krishna, and we're meant to please Krishna. And we're meant to take Brahmanas, we're meant to take people to the ultimate truth also, to the same ultimate goal of Krishna Prema. So that's the other quality of Brahmana. Next quality of Brahmana is Jnanam, or knowledge. Brahmanas like to know more. What? Not to know about what is happening in Israel, what is happening in India, what is happening in there. I can know a little bit so that I can understand how are my parents doing, how is my sister doing. I can understand a little bit to that extent, but not necessarily what this rich person in that part of the world is doing, what this how people are suffering in this part of the world. I don't need to know all those gory level details. But instead, the knowledge means Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita several places. That knowledge means knowledge, understanding ourselves as a soul, understanding matter, understanding Krishna, and relationship between all of them. Relationship between Krishna and me, relationship between Krishna and material nature, relationship between me and material nature, like that. It's a triangle like that. Krishna, Jiva, and Prakriti. That is one way to understand the knowledge. And other places it is described differently also. Understanding how I'm a spirit soul, not this body. That's one understanding. How understanding I'm a super soul is there next to me in this next to me as a spirit soul. But super soul and spirit soul are both different from each other. That's also knowledge. We're discussing this knowledge this morning about that topic. How King Maladhaja realized that and the advanced stages of devotion service like that. So next one is Vijnanam. Brahman means he doesn't just quote the verses from scriptures. That means he knows this, what is there, what is there, what is there. He knows how to apply that in my life right now. So Krishna said that like that. What does it mean to me? How can I apply that in my life? That is wisdom or realization or Vijnanam. That is a Vijnana portion. Brahmana knows that. So then Astikyam. Astikyam means religiousness or being spiritually inclined or being faithful in scripture like that. So, so these are some of the qualities. So that is a important quality. And these are some of the qualities that help anybody, all of the practicing devotees, when you develop these qualities of Brahmana, they're actually cultivating the mode of goodness also. Because Brahmana is the one who's in mode of goodness. So by cultivating these qualities to please Krishna through bhakti. Bhakti is the horse and the qualities are the carriage that is attached to the horse. That means to please Krishna, we're developing these qualities. That's how we can work on these qualities that will be pleasing to Krishna, that will be pleasing to devotees, and will be pleasing to our spiritual master also. So I'll pause there. We have another 8-9 minutes. If anybody has any comments, anything else they know that will help us to apply this in our life, please share. Otherwise, if you have any questions also, we can discuss. Yes, Mati.
Prabhuji, you mentioned the Arja, uh,
Arjavan?
Arjavam. Arjavam means simplicity, straightforwardness, no duplicity, and speaking truth. Yeah.
Honesty, yeah.
Prabhuji.
Prabhupada translated as honesty in this verse. Right? Let me see. Yeah, Prabhupada translated as, yeah, honesty, yes.
Prabhuji, like we oftentimes hear that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan, not Kapata Pavan. Like, so, like how we can understand that I'm not doing kapat, or I'm not duplicitous, like
Okay.
how?
That's easy to understand. Because when we look at ourselves, we can easily understand. For example, sometimes when somebody asks, like, how many rounds you chanted today? Just like fun. They're not getting anything by that answer question, what answer we're giving. I chanted 8 rounds. I will tell I chanted 10 rounds. That is one, duplicitousness, for example. Second thing is, for example, something, I know something that will be beneficial for others. Others are asking me, but they don't give that to them. Either that thing or that knowledge I have, I don't share with them. That's another way. Is there basically duplicitous means I have something in my heart, but I'm speaking something else or doing something else. My words or actions are not in sync with what is in my heart. That only we can understand. So that is a way to observe it. That is one way to observe it like that. Basically through words and through actions we need to observe basically. Makes sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, sometimes it requires, for example, I don't like someone, like everyone is Krishna's person, but because of my problem, I don't like someone, but I don't want to hurt them too. So I don't, uh, I don't express that I don't like.
Yeah,
So
of course.
is felicitous.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That means we're making sure we're sensitively dealing with them. For example, if I don't like somebody, I don't tell them I don't like you like that directly. So we just maintain distance for them. We can say Hare Krishna with smile. Done. That's all.
Yeah.
Not so much.
So this is not duplicitous.
That's not duplicitous. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. That's maintaining the decorum. That's maintaining sensitive dealings with other devotees here. It's absolutely okay because each of us has a different mannerisms, different likes and dislikes, and that's why we find an appropriate association that suits us also.
Prabhuji, Nitai Sivini Mataji was telling one thing about in a kapat or duplicity.
Yeah, please
That
share.
no, I'm asking you that I have heard. I need little more clarification. What you then please let me know. That Mataji was telling that every day we are having three different lives. One is with devotees, that and another with like our family or the work environment, and another is with Krishna, like one self. That you was telling that non-duplicitous meaning all these three lives are synchronous. They are not different from each other. Prabhuji, how I didn't understand. Like Mataji tried her best to understand, but I couldn't. What you
Yeah.
understood? It
Yeah, thank you
meaning.
for sharing. It's also a very valuable point you shared also. It's a good thing. That means that essentially, basically, for example, outside I'll tell everybody that I'm standing 16 rounds. But in the home, I'm not standing 16 rounds. Number one, simple way to look at it, for
Mm,
example.
mm,
Second thing is, outside I tell everybody, outside I act everybody that I'm nice, for example. Oh yeah, we'll take the three aspects.
mm,
For example, when I go to temple, I'll say Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. How can I serve you? Like that.
mm,
That's external. Eh? When I come to my home, my wife is slogging throughout the day. She cooked so many items today. She's washing dishes. She's washed clothes. Dried the clothes. She folded the clothes. She cleaned the home. Now, I don't even get the idea. My dear wife, is there anything I can do? Can I share something from you?
mm,
I don't have that mood. Instead, I say, oh, why did you make this curry today? You should have made that curry.
mm,
Why did you make that one today? You should have made that one. Why? Why do you only wash? Why didn't you iron my clothes today? Instead, pointing mistakes on opposite side. There's a duplicity, right? I mean, so much service mood outside. For my own family members, I'm not ready to serve. That's one way of duplicity, right? Like that we can see. And then, for example, within the family members, I'm telling that everybody that I'm we should not use phone so much. Then I myself am using the phone when I close my bedroom door, and I myself use my phone night time to learn. That's
mm,
duplicitous. That's my own life,
mm.
right? This is an example of being with family and my personal self like that. Those are some examples, Mati.
Like it means that what I is like you told previously that what I uh, preach like I should it should not be lying. It should not
Ah,
like whatever I say I do
yeah,
or what do I say not
correct,
there should not be any difference in
correct,
between.
correct. Yeah, that doesn't mean that there's no room for diplomacy, for example, right? For example, you go there's some room for diplomacy for higher cause also. For example, if somebody invites you they're going to a club, for example,
Mm,
and you say, I cannot come. You can directly tell them nicely that I have certain rules that I follow,
mm.
and it's not suitable for me to go there. Like that, you can tell nicely like that, for
Uh,
example.
Yeah, I also do like like sometimes my work environment is not so conducive and they do not
Mm,
understand the
mm,
thing.
mm,
So I make different
mm,
excuses. Oh,
mm,
I have experiment to do. I cannot go. Oh,
mm,
I'm having I'm ill. I cannot go.
mm,
Like, means nowadays they understand me why I don't I
mm.
make excuses